Today, September 22nd, the equinox opens one of the most powerful and sacred energetic portals of the year. This is not a common astrological event. It is a moment of cosmic alignment, the rare and perfect instant when our planet's scale finds its point zero. It is the day when heaven and earth breathe in the same rhythm. Light and shadow are in perfect and sacred balance. For a brief moment, day and night have the same duration, and in this equilibrium, the veil between the worlds becomes thinner, and the potential for a profound realignment in our life reaches its peak. This universal portal manifests in two distinct forms, depending on where you are on the planet. For those in the Northern Hemisphere, this is the breath of autumn. It is the invitation to the harvest, to honor the fruits of your labor, and to prepare for a period of withdrawal and of wise release of what no longer needs to flourish. For those in the Southern Hemisphere, this is the breath of spring. It is the promise of rebirth, the awakening of the life force, the expansion of everything that has been dormant during the winter. But make no mistake, although the seasons seem opposite, the energy of the portal is the same for everyone. A moment of absolute balance from which a new direction must be chosen. The equinox is a gate, and the question it asks all of us without exception is, what will you carry with you into the next season of your soul? And what will you leave behind on this threshold? What we will do together is learn to cross this gate with consciousness. We will explore the deep meaning of this cosmic pause, understand its symptoms in our body and our soul, and discover how to use this point of balance to make the decisions that will define the next months of our journey. Today, our planet performs one of its most sacred and perfect movements. On a purely astronomical level, the equinox is the moment when the Earth's axis tilts neither toward nor away from the sun. Because of this precise alignment, sunlight is distributed equally across the entire globe, and the result is a phenomenon of immense simplicity and depth. Day and night today have almost exactly the same duration. For a brief moment, light and shadow meet in perfect balance. This is not just a curiosity of the calendar. It is the basis of all the spiritual power of this day. What happens in the sky is a mirror of what happens in our soul. Think of the earth as a living being with its own breath. The summer and winter solstices are its points of maximum inhalation and exhalation. But the equinoxes are something different. They are the sacred pauses between the breaths. Today, our planet holds its breath, and in this silence, in this suspension, the cosmic scale returns to its point zero. It is an energetic reset for the entire planetary system. All the tension, all the excess of light or shadow that has accumulated in recent months is for an instant neutralized. The energy returns to its state of primordial equilibrium. It is for this reason that the ancients celebrated the equinoxes as moments of immense power. They understood that this universal breath offers us a rare opportunity to synchronize our own internal rhythm with the rhythm of the cosmos. At this point of perfect balance, the veil between our physical world and the more subtle dimensions of reality becomes exceptionally thin. That is why the equinox is, in its essence, a gate, a threshold, an opening in normal time that allows us to access a higher consciousness with more ease. But its most important function today is that of a mirror. On normal days, our perception, just like the Earth's axis, is tilted. We see our life through the filters of our hopes, our fears, our wounds. Our vision is never completely clear. Today, because the cosmic axis is perfectly straight, the mirror of reality that is presented to us is limpid, without distortions. The equinox shows us, with a sometimes uncomfortable clarity, where we are in balance and more importantly, where we are in deep imbalance. It reflects the naked truth of our life, of our relationships, and of our inner state. What we see in this mirror today is not an opinion. It is an energetic fact. The portal of the equinox is a universal event. The breath of the planet, its point of equilibrium, is one. However, the way this sacred energy manifests in our life, how it translates into the language of nature and our soul, is dual. Today, the cosmos reminds us that the same truth can have two faces, that the same moment can be lived in opposite but equally sacred ways. Your experience of this portal depends on the hemisphere you are in. For while one half of the world prepares for withdrawal, the other awakens to expansion. But make no mistake, both paths lead to the same destination, the center of balance. For you who are in the Northern Hemisphere, this is the breath of autumn. Look out your window, or to feel it in the air. The golden light, the air that becomes crisper, the leaves that begin their glorious dance of liberation. Nature does not mourn its loss. It celebrates the beauty of detachment. This is your call. The autumn equinox is the great portal of the harvest. It is the moment to look back at the last few months, at the cycle of growth that now ends, and to honor the fruits of your labor. What have you cultivated? What wisdom have you harvested from your experiences? Which relationships have flourished and now offer you sustenance? Today's energy invites you to take an inventory of your abundance, to be grateful for all that life has given you. But this is not just a celebration, it is also a preparation. Just as the trees, which wisely let go of their leaves to conserve their energy for the winter to come, you too are invited to release what needs to fall, what old patterns, what resentments, what attachments to a past that no longer nourishes you are ready to be released with the same grace of an autumn leaf. Your path to balance today is through conscious detachment. It is the wisdom of letting go of what is heavy to be able to travel lighter into yourself. For you who are in the Southern Hemisphere, this is the breath of spring. Feel the subtle change in the earth. The energy that has been dormant, withdrawn during the winter months, begins to awaken. It is the force of life returning, the promise of the buds that have not yet opened, the first warmth that touches the skin. This is your call. The spring equinox is the great portal of rebirth. It is the moment to come out of the introspection of winter and to open up to expansion, to the new. Your soul, which has been dreaming in silence, is now ready to manifest those dreams in the world. What wants to be born through you? What new projects? What new relationships? What new versions of yourself are sprouting? Today's energy invites you to water these seeds with your attention and your intention. It is a day of a sacred optimism, of a renewed faith in the potential of life. Your path to balance today is not through detachment, but through courageous opening. It is the wisdom of saying yes to life, of allowing yourself to flourish, of extending your branches toward the light. And herein lies the magic of this portal. Whether you are in autumn or in spring, the central theme is the same: balance. The North balances by letting go, by creating space. The South balances by filling the space with new life. One is the emptying of the cup, the other is the filling of the cup. But both acts are sacred and necessary. Both are about alignment. No matter which side of the equator you are on, the question the universe asks you today is the same. What do you need to do now to find your center? The answer will be in the season that your soul is living. When the entire planet holds its breath and the cosmic scale finds its point zero, our energetic system, like a sensitive instrument, responds. We are children of the earth. Its rhythm is our rhythm. And today, as the earth recalibrates, we too are recalibrated. The strange sensations, the emotions, and the perceptions that may arise throughout this day are not, therefore, coincidences or problems to be solved. They are symptoms of synchronization. They are the proof that our being is responding to the call of balance, mirroring in our microcosm what is happening in the macrocosm. To understand these symptoms not as a flaw, but as a language, is the key to consciously participating in this portal. The first and most common of these symptoms is a sensation of a pause in time. Today may seem to operate outside the logic of the clock. Time may seem to slow down, to stretch, or you may have the feeling of floating in a bubble, slightly disconnected from the hustle and bustle of the world. This is not your imagination. This is your perception tuning into the pause between breaths of the planet. The universe is in suspension, and your system is mirroring that stillness. Welcome this sensation. It is an invitation to step out of the linear time of productivity, chronos, and into the sacred time of presence, kairos. The second symptom is the intensification of dreams. The night before the equinox and the one that follows are particularly powerful portals. The thinning of the veil allows for clearer communication with our subconscious and with our guides. Dreams may become exceptionally vivid, lucid, or symbolic, often laden with themes of balance, of justice, the energy of Libra, of encounters with wise figures, or of resolutions to old conflicts. Write down your dreams. They are your personal oracle, giving you clues about which area of your life is being called to a new point of balance. The third symptom is physical, the body asking for rest or silence. A different kind of fatigue may arise today, not from effort or excess, but from the simple fact that your energetic field is recalibrating. It is as if every cell needs space to breathe and to reorganize. To honor this pause is not laziness, it is spiritual intelligence. What seems like inactivity is, in fact, a deep work happening within you. To stop does not mean to waste time. It means to allow the realignment to happen without obstacles. The fourth symptom is emotional. Emotions that oscillate between light and shadow. As today is about the perfect balance between light and darkness, it is natural that our own light and our own shadow are illuminated. You may have moments of deep peace and inspiring clarity, followed by a sudden awareness of your own flaws, your fears, your imbalances. Do not be frightened by this oscillation. These are not mood swings. It is your internal scale trying to find its new center. The equinox acts as a mirror that shows you the two pans of your inner scale, so that you can see with clarity where you need to add more light or to welcome your shadow more. Finally, the fifth symptom is coincidences and repeated messages. The universe, taking advantage of the clarity of this portal, loves to send confirmations. Pay attention to symbols of balance that appear in your day, seeing images of scales, of mirrors, the number 2 repeating. The messages you receive today, whether through a conversation or a book, tend to be direct and to speak precisely to the theme of balance in your life. These are the signs that you are in sync. They are nods from the universe, confirming that you are crossing the portal with consciousness. After understanding the cosmic meaning of the equinox and validating its symptoms in our soul, we arrive at the practical heart of this portal. Today's energy is not just to be felt or observed, it is to be utilized. The great mirror of the equinox, which reflects our life with an undistorted clarity, does not show us our imbalances to shame or to judge us. It reveals them to give us the opportunity to realign ourselves. Today is, in its essence, a great spiritual test. But it is not a test with right or wrong answers. The only question the universe asks us is, Do you have the courage to look at your own reflection and to commit to your center? The most powerful action we can take today to answer this call is an act of radical honesty. It is the act of taking a sheet of paper and creating our own balance list. The exercise is simple. Draw a line down the middle of the page. On one side, write excesses. On the other, lacks. And then, with the clarity that only today offers, take an honest inventory of your life, not from what you should be, but from what you truly are. Start with the practical areas. In your work, where is the imbalance? Is there an excess of hours worked and a lack of rest and pleasure? Or is there an excess of procrastination and a lack of focus and discipline? In your health, is there an excess of processed foods and a lack of nutrition? An excess of a sedentary lifestyle and a lack of movement? Then, move to the more subtle areas. In your relationships, how is your balance of giving and receiving? Is there an excess of giving, of always putting the needs of others first, and a lack of ability to receive help, affection, and care, or the opposite? In your communication, is there an excess of speaking and a lack of listening, or an excess of silence and a lack of courage to express your truth? In your inner world, is there an excess of logical thought and a lack of connection with your intuition and your body? This exercise can be uncomfortable. Upon seeing our list, our first tendency may be to feel inadequate, to judge ourselves for our flaws, and it is here that the deepest lesson of the equinox is revealed. The goal of this process is not to achieve a mythical state of perfection. Life is movement, and perfect balance is an instant, not a permanent state. That is why our key phrase for today is, balance is not perfection, it is consciousness. The true victory of this day is not in having a perfectly balanced list. The victory is in the act of making the list. It is in the courage to look at yourself in the mirror without looking away. The awareness of the imbalance is the first, the most important, and the most powerful step toward healing. By simply recognizing where your energy leans to one side or the other, you have already passed the equinox's test. You have already activated your power to realign yourself. What you do with this consciousness, the intention you plant now to walk toward your center, is what will define your journey for the coming months. Now that you have the awareness of your own balance or lack thereof, we arrive at the point of greatest urgency of this day. The equinox is not a permanent state. It is not an energy that settles in and remains available for weeks. On the contrary, the moment of perfect balance, the instant when the cosmic scale reaches its point zero, is exceptionally brief and fleeting. Think of it as a gate, a threshold between two seasons that opens for only a few hours. And the law of this gate is that of finality. The choices and decisions that you make while crossing it, whether they are conscious or unconscious, have an immense power to define the trajectory of your next few months. Today's energy functions as a great filter of destiny. The mirror of the equinox has shown you what is in excess and what is lacking in your life. Now the gate asks you, what are you going to do with this information? Your answer to this question, your decision to move toward your center, is what determines what crosses this threshold with you and what gets left behind. The image to keep in mind is that of a traveler preparing to cross a border into a new country where the baggage rules are extremely strict. You cannot take everything. You are forced to choose only the essential. What crosses with you today remains in the coming months. Think about this. If you, today, with the awareness of your imbalance, make the firm decision to commit to your health, this intention is not just a good thought. It crosses the gate with you and becomes an energetic force that will sustain your actions in the coming months. If you choose to honor your need for rest, that decision becomes the basis for a new rhythm of life. The energy of the equinox seals the decisions that are made in alignment with balance. Conversely, that which you do not honor today tends, naturally, to fade, not as a punishment, but for lack of shared energy. This is crucial. Today, sitting on the fence is equivalent to choosing not to prioritize, and that not choosing also has an effect. Your task at this moment is to be a conscious traveler. Look at your baggage, your habits, your relationships, your commitments, and make the choice. What is truly essential for the next season of your soul? What is just dead weight? The gate is open now. The crossing is happening. Choose wisely. It is not by chance that this portal of cosmic balance happens precisely at the moment when the sun, the center of our identity and our consciousness, enters the sign of Libra. The universe does not operate in coincidences, but in synergies. The energy of the equinox, with its call to balance, is immensely amplified and receives a specific direction from the quality of the sign that hosts it. And Libra is, in its essence, the archetype of the scales, of harmony, of justice, and above all, of relationships and contracts. The entry of the sun into Libra marks the beginning of a new astrological cycle, a 30-day period in which our collective consciousness turns to the themes of the we. The focus leaves the self-analysis of Virgo and moves to the dance of partnerships. The questions that emerge are, how do I relate to others? Are my relationships fair and balanced? Do my partnerships nourish my growth or hinder it? The sun in Libra illuminates our need for connection, but also our need for that connection to be based on equity and mutual respect. When this Libran energy merges with the power of the Equinox Portal, the message becomes unequivocally clear. This equinox calls for a deep review of our agreements, both external and internal. If the equinox is the moment to put our life on the scales, the sun in Libra is what defines the weights that will be measured, our contracts. Think about your most important relationships. Is the invisible contract that governs this partnership still fair? Is the balance of give and take in equilibrium? Today's equinox illuminates any imbalance not to generate conflict, but to invite a renegotiation. But the most important contract that this day invites us to review is the one we have with ourselves. What are the agreements you have made with your own soul? Are you honoring your need for peace? Are you balancing your work with your rest, your social life with your time alone? And herein lies the deepest lesson of Libra, which is often misinterpreted. The Libran balance is not about pleasing others or about keeping the peace at any cost. That is its shadow. The true mastery of Libra, illuminated by the consciousness of the equinox, is that of balanced truth. It is the courage to be honest about your own needs and to communicate them with grace and diplomacy, trusting that a truly balanced relationship will not only survive that truth, but will be strengthened by it. Today's call is to become the just judge of your own life, to rewrite your contracts so that they reflect not who you were, but who you, at this point of balance, choose to be. The crossing through the portal of the equinox is happening now. Throughout this guide, we have dived into its cosmic meaning, honored its dual face in the two hemispheres, learned to read its symptoms in our soul and in our body, and accepted the call for our own realignment. You have made your inventory. You have looked at the mirror of your life without fear, and you have understood that true mastery lies not in perfection, but in consciousness. Now, on the threshold of this gate, with the sun in Libra asking for justice in our contracts, the final choice is presented. Remember the fundamental truth of this day. This is the day when the universe demands your center, Not your perfection, not your excuse, not your hesitation. Your center, your truth, your integrity. The time for preparation is over. The energy of revelation is at its peak. The equinox does not ask if you are ready. It shows what needs to be balanced. The mirror has already shown you the reflection. Your lists have already shown you the facts. Your soul has already whispered the direction to you. Now the last and most important part does not belong to the cosmos. It belongs to you. It is up to you to cross consciously, to cross this portal with the decision to honor your clarity, to commit to your balance, to take with you only what is essential, and to leave behind with gratitude the weight that no longer belongs to you. If this guide has brought you clarity about the power of the equinox, declare in the comments, "I choose balance." Anchor your decision. Make your intention a public declaration of power. And don't forget to subscribe. The search for balance is the great work of our life, and we will continue to build it together, one portal at a time.